Welcome to Homestand Studios. This is Hoop Talks. I'm your host, Noor Zainab. Next to Jelani Goodridge-Reid and Justin Pooni. The Raptors are going to be heading into the All-Star break as of today. They played their last game against the Magic a couple days ago. They got that win.
Yes.
So we thought, it would be super fun while they go on this long break while Pascal has to go to Utah and get some more snow. And everybody else is kind of, relax, go on a tropical vacation. Let's look at the good, the bad, and the funny from this season so far. We're pretty much like a month out from the playoff picture now, if we are gonna hit that area.
That's a big if.
Big if right now.
If we go there. Okay guys, actually we might. That's one of my goods. I'm not gonna give it away. It might be one of my goods, okay? It might actually happen, Justin. You might be looking wrong.
Optimism.
I mean, we're at ninth right now. You're in the play-in spot. You got a full team. Jakob Poeltl's making this look kind of different.
30 points.
Yak's not making me want to yak when he's playing. That's a good sign, I guess.
Good one. Good one.
That was a good one.
Bars, bars.
Yeah.
Let's stay on the topic of good. Okay, first of all. So, Justin, what is something that's been good for you this season so far?
I've talked good about the Raptors. No.
You do?
I'm kidding. Honestly, in a season where a whole lot has gone wrong, and it's very easy to point that stuff out, I will say this: OG Anunoby defensively is having a very good season. He leads the NBA in steals. He takes on the toughest matchups. And I know, the team-wise, the defense hasn't really been there for the Toronto Raptors. But there's a reason why OG Anunoby wasn't Defensive Player of the Year running. But when the Raptors are still kind of in it, of course, they've kind of fallen off. And we all know you're never going to win a major player award in the NBA if your team is not up at the top of the standings, right? But the fact that OG Anunoby built his stock up to a point where at the trade deadline he was worth 3 first-round picks, which is a massive haul for a guy like OG Anunoby. Again, I think that's a kudos to him and his development defensively and becoming that defensive stopper for the Toronto Raptors. And I think, as we mentioned in the last couple weeks and months leading up to the NBA trade deadline, there was a reason why teams were so coveted on him, because he fits anybody's system. And I think that was a great testament to not only his character, that he fits in any locker room, but also the fact that he's a defensive stopper and occasionally can play well on offensively, but he needs to stop the Jason Tatum tendencies where he dribbles the ball too much and just.
Guy always says that
Don't
Jason
think you should
Tatum
dribble the
tendencies.
ball, but he's not bad. He can play some offensive
he's a
game.
great 3-and-D. He's a great 3-and-D.
Just don't watch him dribble. That's fine.
Very good 3-and-D player. Just you're not Jason Tatum, bro. Just sometimes know your role.
He's saying he's not him, but he is him defensively, but offensively.
Defensively, yes, he's him, but not offensively.
Okay.
I agree. I think, listen.
Wow, you agree with me?
Well, I agree with you because I've been saying this the whole time. OG has to be staying here, have I not? But because you said all these nice things, you said OG is going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
I think he's Defensive Player of the Year running.
Discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to win it.
Same thing. I don't care. I heard it wrong, and I'm going to keep it that way. And then you said all teams want him. He fits every single piece. Does he not fit the Raptors piece right now too? Are you still on the train that you think he can still be moved?
He absolutely does fit the Raptors. Like I said, he fits any team's plan. But the Raptors are in a position where they're in flux, right? Yeah. They're not good enough to contend, and OG can bring you pieces that can help you for the future to help you contend for many more years.
We'll see what happens in the offseason.
We'll see what happens in the offseason. I still believe, and again, you're making me spoil my bad.
No, don't do it right now. Save it.
Just stay patient, and I'll explain to you the bad.
I'm sorry.
I like that OG point.
I got very happy about the OG point.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm gonna get right on that right now. So Jelani, what about you? What's your happy?
It has to be Pascal Siakam, right? He's an all-star. He's an all-star, so it has to be that, right? He is the reason why we've stayed afloat. Okay, remember this season hasn't been that pretty. Right? Yeah. But it could have been worse. Without Pascal, it would have been much 100%. Worse. Let's be honest with ourselves,
Even Justin can admit that, right, Justin?
Can you admit that?
I mean,
yes, you can.
He's going to Utah for a reason because somebody got hurt, and then he was the next best. He was the next. Somebody got hurt, and he was the next best option to go to Utah. So that's good.
The way he's been playing, he could have been selected. You know that.
He should have been an All-Star.
Okay, don't listen to this man.
You're just bitter because Jalen Brunson's not in the All-Star.
Jalen Brunson needs to be an All-Star. What the hell is wrong with everybody out there? Jeez. Even Iggy Azalea's dapping him up after the game. That is true. Come on, man.
Big Riz, okay. But yeah,
Riz.
I know. Iggy Riz.
Come on.
I'm so fancy, but I think that
you already know.
Hey, man. But I think that's good. I think Pascal Siakam, the way he's played this year, very impressive. Second-time All-Star for him, and we'll see. Maybe an All-NBA. right? He's been in discussions for that too. Might be a third team once again. I could see that happening. But yeah, Pascal, he's been a guy that we rely on so much, right? Because he does it offensively. We see the activity on the defensive side of the ball. He's giving us 25 points per game, which I like. Also, he's providing career high in assist numbers right
Absolutely.
now, and he's rebounding the basketball at a high clip, 8 per game. So I love what Pascal's been doing. And if we want to make a run at a playoff spot, play-in
Dun, dun,
spot,
dun.
Capital I, capital F. If
we're
in the play-in
we are going to
spot.
we're gonna need Pascal to be that guy, to
Absolutely.
be that all-star that we rely on, and that could get it done for us, right? And that's what we've been asking for him. Can you get it done? Remember a couple years ago in the bubble, he had a tough time, right?
I think
he
Orlando
respond? And then-
Orlando police are still looking for Pascal Siakam at Disney World in the bubble. They didn't see him there.
Did they go through Austin Rivers though?
I don't know.
Did they check in? Did they check in?
Call Detective Austin Rivers
Yeah,
up
you
and
gotta check in
find
with-
him.
Certified hater in every way of the word.
You
I'm not
gotta
a-
check
Did he
in
show
with
up in
him
the bubble?
and with Mickey Mouse.
That's old news. That's
I know
old
it's
news.
But yeah, I was saying like he had a tough time there, right? The questions were, is he gonna respond? Tampa
Yeah.
Bay,
And he
is Tampa was a tough time, and then he helped us last year, and now we're seeing the Pascal that we know
Yeah.
and love. So yeah,
Like
Pascal.
those years, I feel like that team didn't even really count. Like, do we look back at the Lakers championship
Really not the
and
Tampa.
we
The
go,
Tampa one,
no.
I don't really.
Do
I don't
you
really.
look back and you go, LeBron
LeBron's
James
a
got it? Oh, of course he does. Of course he does, ladies and
champion.
gentlemen. Of
One,
course that one
not
counted
two,
for Justin
not
Pooni
three.
over here. But
course.
one thing, I guess none of us mentioned that's maybe a good thing in this season. I might be helping Pascal right now too. Is getting Jakob Poeltl back as
Yes,
well, right? Like
bestie.
as great as he has been now offensively, I thought I would say defense, but offensively he's been so good. 30 points the other night, Justin. Even you can't say anything.
Hey, his
about
game
it.
didn't make you want to yak. What can I say?
You can't use the same joke twice.
I can use it.
There's
twice
a
in a row.
limit to the jokes.
The
that
first
you
time
use.
was so nice.
The
I had to do it twice.
Nah, the first time
Oh,
was better. Bro.
man.
I know. I'm a-
See, you don't want to tell me you have to cut it out.
Sometimes
You gotta
just
cut it out.
sometimes just shoot and you get goes in. Jakob shot went in that
That was
night.
an air ball.
That one was
okay,
an
don't
air
worry
ball.
about
Yeah,
it.
I'm just-
But
it
no, I
happens.
think for me, like, okay, that's a part of it. Jakob coming back, because a bunch of us were just like, him coming back, what's that going to mean for the team?
Yeah.
How are they even going to improve to a point to be better than who they are? And it's still a very small sample size. It's only
Yeah.
3 games in. We can't say much right now. The previous game before the one where he had 30 points, he actually got fouled out. So it's, you can't really look at both ways. But I think it's something good for the team. You're seeing them have some kind of defensive structure now, and that center spot was missing so badly. And it finally got fulfilled. But actually, for me, my good so far this season actually is Gary Trent Jr.
Gary, okay.
I think,
okay.
yeah, not just the fact that his offense has been great. He's now actually playing defense
Yeah,
too. You
yeah,
see him
yeah.
working
Pretty
his
well,
games on the
actually.
other end. He was leading the Raptors in steals last month because OG wasn't able to play, so he had the highest steals of the team. And he's just a disruptor. Like I remember Nick Nurse said at one point, he was like, "We don't know what Gary Trent does on the defensive end, but he just makes stuff happen." And there was a clip that happened right afterwards, and it was literally Gary just screaming at the other offensive guys, and that was his defense. Like he's screaming at them, and then you go help defense.
Whatever
and I'm
works.
Like,
Yeah, whatever it
literally
is.
anything at that point that you can do, you do it. But I actually like about him off court too is. There's so much has happened this season. So many rumors. Such like I'm running into the bad stuff too, but like that's a part of it, right? Such has happened. But he's been that one guy, kind of like, dare I say, kind of like a Kawhi.
No.
Okay. Explain.
Listen, can I finish, please? Like he shows up to work and he just wants to work. That's it.
He just wants the ball.
He
He just wants
does.
to hoop.
He doesn't want to
Okay,
go
okay,
and like give an answer to. Well, here are the rumors. This is how I feel. I want more touches. He wakes up. He goes to practice. He goes home. Makes his protein shake of it, whatever he got to do.
Where's his outlandish fits?
I love his fits.
Hey, he's got
I
some
think-
top
I
fits. Some are a
think-
bit too much for
Nah,
me.
I
but
think honestly he's a top 10 drippy
Someone
man in the
who's
league.
busy with fashion like
Top
that has
10.
no time for drama, so he's good. He's got that covered, and then he goes to the game and he just hoops. That's
Yeah.
all he does. He just wants to hoop. So I think
Yeah.
just in the midst of everything that was so wrong this season, he was something that was almost positive because he just showed up and he just wanted to be there to play basketball.
Yeah.
Amidst the worst season of pretty much our lives, being a Raptors fan. But speaking of the worst. Speaking of the worst, there's a lot of bad things that happened this season. I don't think there's much that we can really narrow down
yeah.
because
There's
there's
been
just
plenty.
like
Yeah.
there's like a top 10 that we have to do. Like, what's the worst part for you?
You can
this
spend a whole
season?
show
Top
just
20,
talking
We
about
really could. The
what's
full
gone wrong.
the full half hour we could be doing that. But if you had to narrow it down, Justin, if you had to, I know for you, you're like, oh, let me
Yeah, it's
let
like
me
which
get
one?
everyone
This
out.
one, that
Oh,
one.
see, you
This
guys
is like
are
ha- this
you
is
guys
Christmas.
love to slander.
just
You guys love to
Christmas.
slander my good name. But
You slander your own
No.
baby, who you are.
let me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually not a Raptors hater. I'm a Raptors realist. Okay, there was a point in time where I was actually a diehard Toronto Raptors fan. Actually, there's a
Actually,
yes, surprising, yes.
No.
He did prove it.
I did prove.
Yeah.
Jelani knows. I have the receipts and all. I have the receipt of proof of purchase and
Yes,
the actual receipts.
That's
as well.
correct.
I
The
think
method proof of purchase.
I got the literal receipt and I got the figurative receipt. Relax, Justin.
Anyway, the bad is the NBA trade deadline. The trade deadline was an utter,
In what ways
Failure.
for you though? Like the aftermath?
and I'm gonna get to that right now.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you,
I'm sorry.
thank you for cutting me off. I appreciate
I
it.
didn't.
Thank you.
I was
No,
hoping to get to your point.
No, I didn't
I
need the
was-
help. Hey. I learned how to ride a bike by myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for helping Justin
I don't need
today.
your train. I don't need your training wheels. All right, I got it. Don't worry.
You don't
Thank
want
you
me to
though.
hold your hand?
Thank you.
You want me to hold your hand? Okay,
No,
it's fine.
no, your hands are very palmy, sweaty sometimes. So no thanks.
You've never held my hand before. How would you even know?
I don't know.
Okay, get to your point. Get to
Anyway,
your
before you
point.
keep interrupting me, let me get to the point. Look, the Toronto Raptors were in prime position to really set themselves up for the future. Set themselves up to look. This is the path. This is the direction and the plan for our organization. Because I'm a firm believer in life, in sports, in companies, in business, in whatever. You need a plan. If you don't have a plan, you are going nowhere.
What's Blood's plan?
What is Blood's plan? What is Masai Ujiri's plan? We still don't know what Masai Ujiri's plan is, right? And at that time, or sorry, last week, excuse me, the Toronto Raptors were the hottest commodity. They had all these assets to sell off, and they chose to stand pat, right?
They actually became buyers.
They became
know.
buyers. They
They
bought
became
us.
buyers.
They spent a first-round pick that they could use on a center that they could have got
I
in
think I will
free
cry if you
agency.
finish that sentence right now because I think
I don't
about
know.
it too much.
You know what?
and
I'm gonna
just
say
like,
it one more time because you cut me off. And I gotta get back at you. The Toronto Raptors spent a first-round pick on a center who they could get in free agency and keep a first-round
I
pick.
feel sick. They could have actually also gotten them last year, but sorry, continue.
Exactly. So Masai Ujiri, great executive, phenomenal executive, one of the best in the business, one of the best of this generation, no doubt about it. But what the hell were you thinking? 3 first-round picks for OG Anunoby. Not 1, not 2, but 3 first-round picks. That you could have kept, developed young assets, or you could have packaged that together with another piece to get a bigger fish into the town. Because you're not going to sign somebody through free agency. You had Gary Trent Jr., who potentially could walk to LA, and I think he's going to walk to LA.
I hope not.
Anyway,
I hope
he's
not.
a clutch client. Reports are coming out every day now that the Phoenix Suns are going to be heavy after Fred VanVleet.
They've been.
Now, what are you going to do? A sign and trade again? Well, Fred VanVleet holds all the cards. If he's like, I want to go to Phoenix, and Phoenix, well, he was going to come here anyway, we'll just sign him, right? Give us what, we'll give you something, peanuts on the dollar, right? Or pennies on the dollar, excuse me, right? So,
You also earlier said
huh?
Noor's just loving this right now.
a fish walking into town
Yeah, big fish walking to town, yeah.
in the sea. It's okay.
Oh,
It's okay.
whatever. Like,
Just give him the floor.
let's just don't listen to amateur hour over here. Like, I'm trying to spit facts about basketball, and
No, I'm
she's
so
she's
sorry, you're
trying to
right.
distract the fact that what I'm saying is facts. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to.
You're
I
great
know.
with your words. That's all
Okay,
I'm saying.
whatever. Anyway, the Raptors fumbled the bag. They fumbled the bag, and now they're playing a long game where they're hoping the value is gonna be this just high in the summertime.
So one
which we don't
question:
know.
would you accept the trade offers for OG because they were strictly picks?
Honestly, yeah.
Then
Because-
wouldn't you want a player back? I think that's what Masai
But
wanted
what-
to do,
But
right?
this is the whole thing I'm saying is, you know this year, so what, you make the play. You're gonna get bounced in the first round anyway. What's the point?
Well, I've been talking about the play. You know me
Yeah,
in the play.
exactly. Like, I think like the Raptors
I
are
was just trying
prime
to see your
opportunity.
perspective on
My
the offers.
my mentality is when I see that this team has a low ceiling where you're pretty much gonna be a first round exit team and you're gonna get bounced. No, I thought it was gonna be a close first round series if you play a Boston, a Milwaukee.
I mean, usually
a
the
Philly.
1 versus 8s are always
It's
sweeps
sweep or 5
yeah,
games, right? And
gentlemen's
I
sweep.
don't think it's. the Raptors will be tough in the play-in too, depending on certain teams they play, that they match up
I think
against.
it'd be
Right?
a tough matchup for other teams.
Exactly.
I think that's the team that you don't want to see in the play-in. Let's
look,
be honest.
Regardless.
Rather Magic than Raptors.
Well, the Magic are below them in the standings.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. Right?
You know what I'm saying.
I don't know. Are they a big, fish
Continue.
walking into a small pond? Whatever you're trying to say, I don't know.
You were the one who
whatever,
messed it
look,
up.
whatever
There
you're trying to
you
say,
go.
whatever you're trying to say, just hold on. It's my turn. It's my turn. It's my
Skip
turn. It's my turn. It's my
Skip
turn.
Bayless.
It's my turn now.
But just to conclude, like I think the Raptors have no plan going forward, and it's I get it. These are Masai's guys. Like he's
Yes.
drafted them. They're his guy. But Masai, sometimes you gotta just cut the umbilical cord off and just let them go.
My question to that though would be, do you not think keeping Gary Trent right now, keeping Fred right now, and Masai's not, he's a smart man out there, right? He's gonna go into this knowing that these guys are open in the summer, so they could sign elsewhere. If he's keeping them after the trade deadline, do you think there's an inclination that he's had a conversation with them about them staying
I
here?
think they for sure had a conversation, but I think that with Fred, that's the whole situation with the sign and trade thing. I don't know how that's gonna play out, to be honest with you, right? Because he's looking for a load of money. And the question is for Masai, does he want to give him that money?
Yeah.
Right? I think that he wants to because he's been here for a while. He's won a chip and stuff like that. But again,
he's a Raptor through and
Well,
through.
there
but
are
does the
rumors
market
that-
say does the market say that he deserves that? That's the
Yeah,
question,
no,
right?
definitely.
And then as for Gary, I think Gary is actually more likely to stay. If you're gonna ask me who's more likely to stay, I think it's Gary. Why? Because I think he's the younger player, younger asset, and I think moving forward, as I do expect the Raptors to be a younger squad, he's gonna need to be on this team moving forward and become one of the new cornerstones for the Raptors.
Absolutely.
And we've seen that he has the offensive weapon to be that guy.
And he's been playing well. He's been playing well.
absolutely.
No, I think like Gary, like you talked about the timeline, right? Gary could be a guy that you could, be a part of.
Something moving forward.
But then again, Gary also wants to be.
Yeah, he wants the bag. You're gonna have to pay him
wants the bag, but he also wants the opportunity, right? So, and that's what I'm saying.
Well, would
Would you not
Masai
do
be
that?
like, okay, well, we're gonna give you the chance to move forward with Scotty. We'll see what happens with Pascal as he gets older.
That's another
Gary,
question you gotta
that
worry
could be a
about.
chance for Gary to become one of the guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
And so that's what Masai said. Like, look, I'm gonna take the next couple months of the end of the season to evaluate what I have left. Well, you had the whole first half of the season to evaluate, and you should. I think like. I just don't understand where this organization's going and what they're trying to gain out of this. Because if they still truly in their heart of hearts feel that they can contend in the Eastern Conference, they have a rude awakening because they have no chance of contending.
I think he was looking at the first half of the season, thinking about what he wanted to do, and I don't think he's had the full picture because the team was so beat up. Remember, the injuries were there throughout the year early on, so we didn't really get to see how the team was going to look. And the thing with Nick Nurse, the coaching stuff. If you don't have your guys out there on the court, how are you gonna?
Well, I think
how are you
he
gonna be
also-
able to find your lineups?
You also saw in the playoffs
So, I
last
don't
year
know.
against the Philadelphia
I don't know.
team, right? Where the guy with James Harden wasn't playing as good as he was last year.
Yeah.
You saw, I mean, they were up 3-0.
That was Tyrese Maxey.
Honestly, though,
But
what I
I'm-
think from his press conference, what I got was that, and this is, I don't blame him on this. It's a matter of what are you going to get back for who you want to give away, and he wanted beyond picks players as well. He wanted good players, and if you're not going to get those back, I get it. And but then he also made it clear that the trade deadline is not where it ends all be all. You also have the free agency coming up in the summer, and things can move around then. You can move pieces around then, so he might be waiting for that point. But then again, does it make sense to wait for someone like Gary Trent and Fred VanVleet at that point?
I don't think he wanted to panic and make a move. You guys know me. I already spoke about this, right? I don't have to go back on it. I think that something should have happened. But I don't think he wanted to panic. That's why I keep saying something will happen in the offseason. Something's going to happen, right? I don't know who it's going to be.
Oh, definitely.
But something's going to happen.
There's 3 guys that have to get paid in the offseason.
So,
Something's going to have to
just
give.
stay
But
tuned.
Jelani, now, based off of what's happened so far, do you have the same kind of bad moments as Justin?
Yeah, it goes to the losing, right? The losing this
a
season.
whole lot of that.
Yeah, it was a tough stretch. We had plenty of losing. And look, right now, yes, we're 9th. Cool. 28-31. Cool. But again, we haven't seen us go over that 500 mark.
Yeah.
Right? And this is different with the Raptors. The Raptors have been a good team over the years, especially with Nick Nurse. That's why we consider him one of the best in the sport. And this year, I mean, the losing came because of lack of adjustments. We saw that. We've been talking about it every single episode, it seems, right? The defense. The defense in Toronto has always been considered one of the top tier defenses in the league.
Absolutely.
And don't let the points per game allowed, blind you from the fact that a lot of times we give guys open looks. They
Yes.
let we talked about it, with the transition game at times has been absent, and in the paint at times it's been pretty bad. That's why we needed a guy like Jakob Poeltl to be an anchor inside. So that was another issue. And then when you're looking at the offense, the shooting numbers were god awful.
Yeah.
Remember, at the start of the year, we were dead last.
Yes.
We were last in terms of
Every offensive
shooting.
rating.
Yeah, from the outside, we were in the basement,
Yeah.
right? We were in the basement, and that did not help us at all. That led to a lot of losses, and a lot of people were like, "What's going on in Toronto? What's happening in Toronto?" These were people that aren't really familiar with the Raptors. They were
They're
even
unfamiliar with the Raptors game.
They were unfamiliar with our game, and they were asking, "What's going on with Fred VanVleet? What's going on with these guys? You know that we know, right? Are all stars and haven't been able to get wins in Toronto. What was happening?" So I think the losing has really been tough to deal with. A lot of fans were getting frustrated. That's why the trade deadline, that was such a big deal because of where we were at, right? And because of the losing. And we'll see what happens moving forward. We'll see if the winning comes. I think Jakob does help things. But again, you're gonna need guys to step up, right? And I look at the bench too. I think the bench production or lack thereof has been a real problem at times during the season. And last point, a lot of losing has come in close games.
Yeah,
right?
that's the biggest. That's a big.
You got to close out the fourth
that
quarter.
net
You got to
rating.
close out those last 5 to 10 minutes or 10 to 5 minutes in the fourth. There's been times like the Orlando game the other day where you get it done. You have a double-digit lead. You hold that, right? And then other games where it's like,
Detroit.
okay, or Utah, you're talking about, okay, comfortable lead. Can you hold it?
We're gonna blow
Doesn't hold
it.
it.
We're
So-
gonna blow it, Jelani. That's a great point because that piggybacks off my point for what I think has just been abysmal this season, and that's last year. If you look at this team, maybe you're down 20 points in third quarter. You're not sweating anything. You're sitting there and you're like, okay, you know what? I know this team, they're gonna make a comeback.
You fight
They
back,
will make
yeah.
a comeback no matter what happens. And like, as you know it, fourth quarter comes around, last 2 minutes, we have a game. The Raptors have tied it up. Now it's the
it's
opposite,
reversed.
where they have a nice lead. They're maybe leading by 10 points, 15 points. They come into the fourth quarter, and you know this is where they're going to die. They're just about to blow everything up. And they drag out the last 10 seconds into a minute, Jelani, a full minute. And you sit there as a fan, and you're like, this could have been over a minute ago.
Or
Why am I
a couple
still
minutes ago.
freaking- Yeah.
You
Wait,
know?
why am I still watching
We like
this?
to make it a game late.
Yeah.
In the past, that wasn't the case. We deal with teams. That,
You would
so-
be able to close out properly, but I think the confidence in closing out has completely gone away. The schemes have gone away. There's not much happening on the defensive end. The defensive,
problem,
okay,
yeah.
that to me I think is the biggest problem this season because, like you said, this team is known for their defense. Their entire built-up system is off of the back of being a good defensive team.
Yeah.
Where is the defense?
And
where's Waldo?
also not having OG that obviously hurts us.
But
Right?
you should be better
blind
without
to that,
OG
but
anyway,
The
you
Nick
know?
Nurse's system was like
yeah, like you
suspension
should.
was
I
Yeah.
was about to say
Yeah.
you can't rely on one dude,
It
right?
can't be
Of
just
course,
the
OG
OG.
is that anchor on the outside, right? And the perimeter, he gets it done there. But of course, you can't
Because
rely
Nick
on one
Nurse
dude.
doesn't even let guys play if they're not playing defense. You know, so you know if you're on the court, it's
You know
because
what-
he's expecting you to play defense.
You know what I heard the other day? I was watching Undisputed.
Okay,
and
okay.
Oh no!
Skip Bayless actually mentioned the Toronto Raptors name.
Whoa,
Holy
Yes.
whoa!
Yes.
You were mentioned.
We made
Yes,
it!
yes.
in America.
So
Hollywood!
they made it. Fox Sports acknowledged the Toronto
Whoa.
Raptors. They're going through like the most amount of minutes played, right?
Okay.
Amongst NBA players.
That's
And,
where it's like Fred and Pascal were.
And
out
then
there,
it,
for sure.
what's it called? Skip's talking about. Oh, yeah. Then there's the Toronto Stars that like, well, they just play all the time, but they don't play very well.
Oh man, yeah, I know.
So I just wanted to. But
That's
again,
the problem.
That's not our problem, Escape. I'm sorry.
Again,
you don't
like-
have a bench that Nick Nurse wants to play.
Nick Nurse and Masai Ujiri need to replenish the bench. They need to replenish the system.
I've been talking about that all year.
Well,
And I'm
you
sorry,
give the guys a
the guy that was
chance,
like on
right?
the guy on the Netflix movie does not cut it. He doesn't play.
Who, Bo Cruz?
Bo Cruz, whatever his
My
name
guy,
is.
Bo
Like,
Cruz?
Whatever, man, whatever. Like really, like
Shout out Hernan
that's
Gomez.
not a depth piece. I know Otto Porter Jr. is supposed to be that big pickup, but he doesn't play. You got to do more than Otto Porter Jr.
I will say, I think the acquisition of Poeltl now does give your bench a little bit of life. Now you have Malachi, Boucher,
Does Malachi
Precious
play every
coming
time,
on.
though?
He has, yeah, he's been playing. I don't think you've been watching.
No, but he
he's been playing every
plays. But does he
single
play?
time. Yeah,
for
me
now.
as well.
But watch after the All-Star break, Nick
He
Nurse
had
is not going to
double
turn up.
digits.
He had a good game the other day.
He did have a
against
good
Orlando.
game. He did.
He's been
Against
good.
Orlando,
And
but
I think he's kind of earned Nick Nurse's trust a little bit because you do see him get minutes nowadays.
still
He
a
gets
short
on the
leash he
court.
has, though.
Well, he's not a starter. What do you think?
I
Anybody
get-
on the bench is
but
not.
you
But
need-
that's Nick
I know
Nurse's
what
problem,
I know what
right?
you're saying about the bench and Bo Cruz. Shout out Hernan Gomez. I know I understand Otto Porter too, but yeah, you gotta say he got hurt. We weren't expecting that to happen.
no.
And remember, we wanted a dude named Malcolm Brogdon. He didn't want to
But
come
he
here,
didn't
right?
want to come here,
So
which is the case for a lot
that's
of
a lot
players.
to ask for to get guys to sign here first
Yeah.
of all, right? So thank you Otto for signing here, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Otto, for signing Toronto. Is he even in Toronto? Is he
That
rehabbing
might be
back to
actually the
California?
funniest moment of the season so
Thank
far.
you.
But speaking of funny moments, really quickly, guys, there hasn't been much to laugh about this season. There's been a lot to cry about, but not much
Yeah.
to laugh about. But if there's one thing that you could have laughed at this season, Jelani, what was your fun moment?
Yeah, it took me a while to figure this out.
Yeah. I was struggling.
Yo, I was stressed.
Googling, bro. I was Googling. I'm
Your
like,
boy
what's
was
funny?
stressed, okay? But I was thinking about it, and Nick Nurse's foundation, they had a whole nice event before the season started, right? And they were jamming out to tracks. Last,
Oh, our
this guy's
song,
track,
our
this guy's
song.
track.
Shy.
Last-
Oh,
Last-
yeah, don't do that. Don't.
By
don't.
Burna
I'm gonna do it
Boy.
again.
Don't
Shy.
disrespect
Okay.
Burna Boy ever again. Please
You saw Delano out there. You saw Scotty, Precious.
Wasn't Precious playing DJs?
Yeah, Chris Boucher. They're all
Aw.
vibing. Shy,
Holy.
last. Okay, but yeah, so.
Justin feels left out. Justin,
Yeah, definitely that. I think the vibes were there, and also the other day, Gary Trent Jr. He was out and about on Wave Room.
Oh,
they
yeah.
they asked.
Oh,
him,
yeah, the Toronto-
asked that, Yo fam. He's like his favorite line is Yo fam.
Oh yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
you
Yeah, what are
cheese
you
me,
doing,
dog.
man?
Yo,
Yeah.
back up. I like that. I like that.
Gary Trent is a certified Toronto man.
Yeah,
now.
no, he
Justin,
is.
what about you?
Gotta stay.
My
Please stay.
funniest moment was remember when the Raptors played in Atlanta and Trae Young lobbed up to was AJ Griffin and he got
the end, yeah.
game-winning lob and then he waved by to the Raptors bench and then everyone in the Raptors was like, oh, why are you doing that? Oh, why are you so upset? Like, why?
Because his dad is on the staff.
Yeah, but, okay. First
Like,
of
it's
all,
not an issue. It's not an issue.
I don't understand why there was a problem about it. Like people were just freaking out about Trae Young, we're coming after. It's on site next time you're in Toronto. Blah blah blah, bruh. It's basketball. Trae Young's a troll. Respect the troll.
We know
he
he's
won
a troll,
the
and
game.
we like
I mean,
to give in to the troll. It's
That's
fun
your
being a
problem. Then
troll.
don't give in to trolls.
That wouldn't have.
Don't give
fun,
in to
but it's
trolls.
fun. You can go back and
But
forth
you know
with the
that
troll,
wouldn't
you
have
know?
happened if first of all if Scotty
Scotty didn't
dunked the
mess
ball,
up at
if-
the
if
end of
Scotty
the
dunked ball, and
game.
secondly if we didn't let that beautiful play, by the way, beautiful
Amazing
play
play,
by McMillan and
Yeah.
that staff happen. Okay, that wouldn't have happened
So
if that didn't happen.
I had a good
Okay, that's
chuckle on
not a
Twitter
funny.
after that game.
That's not a fun
I had a
part
good
of the
chuckle on Twitter
Raptors.
after.
Yeah, you picked the anti.
He was laughing at Raptors
You're,
Twitter.
I was laughing at Raptors
you're
Twitter,
the
which I normally
anti-Raptors
do.
actually, but for me it was Scotty Barnes actually.
Okay.
But it was the infamous moment when he was playing against the Knicks, and we saw Quentin Grimes go up to Pascal, start shoving him back and forth, and Scotty emerges from the ashes of the Phoenix and looks over at Quentin. He's like, "You was not him. You was not him. You was not that guy." And that was. I was like, that's my rookie of the year.
Yeah.
I think Scotty Barnes single-handedly will bring back NBA rivalries. It's what we need.
I don't
it's
think
what we
so.
need
We
to
need that
see.
for sure.
We need. What
We
do you
need
know?
I don't think Scotty will bring back NBA rivals. I don't think NBA rivalry is going to come back whatsoever because of the culture.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
but when you have guys like that, though, let's look at guys like Ant. Look at guys like Scotty. Look at guys like
Okay, well,
Trey.
yeah,
Those
okay,
guys
Ant
want a
and Scotty,
reaction,
yeah.
right?
Ant
And they're gonna do
Scotty,
something. What?
And
We're gonna wrap this up.
Ant-
right now.
Ant-
I'm
Ant-
gonna
some
wrap
dudes.
this up right now.
But you mentioned the ashes of Phoenix. I wanted to point
Order
out
of the Phoenix?
when Phoenix played us, actually,
Yes.
when DeAndre Ayton was trying to act tough and Scotty just looked at him. That was
Oh, that was a
I
good
will
one,
give
too.
Scotty credit on that because DeAndre Ayton's a fake tough guy.
yeah. Scotty's like, bro, like stop, like don't.
Good dude, you're
Yeah,
getting
that's
stunned
fine.
by a 19-year-old.
I will give Scotty
That's
credit.
kind of crazy. That's kind of insane.
I
But
mean,
Scotty
DeAndre
Barnes,
Ayton's
we
like
love
35
you.
on,
You
like,
are,
22.
and you will bring back NBA rivalries no matter what Justin Pooni here says. We don't listen to him.
Prove me wrong.
But I'm Noor Zainab, Justin Pooni, Jelani Goodridge-Reid. You can find us everywhere where you are on social media, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. And you can also find our other podcast, 3 in the Key, where we cover everything around the NBA every Monday. But this is the home for the Raptors. So check us out again tomorrow, and we'll see you then. This has been Hoop Talks.
We the North.
We the North.
Funky dope.